Sometimes all it takes is one single moment, caught on camera, to tell you everything. It can just explode from this one tiny, selfish act into a massive global story about reputation, about online justice, and, well, the really weird, blurry line between fact and fiction. Today, we're going to break down the story of a stolen hat that became so much more. Let's dive in. This one post on X really just hit the nail on the head, didn't it? It perfectly captured how everyone felt right away. I mean, this was never about the value of the hat. It was about the value of just being a decent person for a second, and how one man decided to just fumble it all away in front of literally millions of people. So how did this whole thing even begin? It all started with this one moment of bad sportsmanship in the stands of the US Open that was so blatant, so obvious, you almost can't believe it actually happened. Okay, so picture this. We're on court 11. Polish player Kamil Majchrzak just won a super tough match, and he decides, hey, I'm gonna make a young fan's day. He walks over to the crowd to give away his hat. But just as the little boy reaches for it, a man right next to him just snatches it away, and without even a second thought, he shoves the hat into a bag. The kid is just left there, confused, empty-handed, and the whole thing is being broadcast live to the entire world. That single, selfish act, that was the spark. But the internet? Oh, the internet provided the fuel, turning this small little incident into a full-blown inferno of outrage and some serious digital detective work. And the speed of the fallout was just incredible. I mean, within 1 hour, the clip was everywhere. 6 hours in, internet sleuths already had a name: Piotr Szczerek, a CEO from Poland. Fast forward to the 12-hour mark, and his company, a paving company called Drogbruk, was getting absolutely slammed with bad reviews. And in just one day, the story was global, which is right about when things took an even stranger turn. And look, this wasn't just online chatter. The consequences were very real. The backlash got so intense that Drogbruk's Google Maps page was flooded with so many one-star reviews that Google had to temporarily take it down. It's a perfect kind of scary example of how quickly that digital anger can spill over into the real world. So just when you think this story couldn't possibly get any weirder, a defense appears online, and it is a truly baffling one, posted on a Polish review website that tries to reframe this simple act of selfishness as, well, a teachable moment. Yep, you heard that right. This is the core claim from a statement that was supposedly from Szczerek's lawyer. It argues that taking the hat wasn't a bad thing, it was an educational gesture. The logic, I guess, was that by taking the hat, the man was teaching the child some kind of lesson about respect or responsibility or something. It's a stretch. And if the whole educational argument wasn't wild enough, the statement ended with this incredibly arrogant line. It basically dismissed anyone who was upset as an uneducated crowd and then declared, law, prestige, and money are on our side. We set the rules of the game. As you can probably guess, this only made things about 1,000 times worse. I mean, this quote was so out of touch, so perfectly villainous, that it made everyone stop and ask the exact same question. Is there any way this is actually real, or was the whole internet just being played? And that's because we had a direct contradiction. On one side, you have this crazy, inflammatory statement on the review site GoWork, but on the other, the actual lawyer, a guy named Jakub Jędrzejczak, posted on his official LinkedIn profile that he never wrote it and that someone was impersonating him. So this just left the internet spinning. What was the truth here? Was it a genuine but just catastrophic attempt at PR? Was it some elaborate troll just trying to stir the pot? Or maybe, as some people thought, was it just AI-generated rage bait designed to make a bad situation go even more viral? The real story got really murky, which is just a perfect sign of the times, isn't it? But to really, truly understand this whole mess, you have to understand the man right at the center of it. So who exactly is Piotr Szczerek? Well, according to public business records, he's Piotr Szczerek, the CEO and co-owner of Drogbruk. And this is a pretty significant paving and construction company in Poland. So this wasn't just some random guy in the stands, he's a pretty prominent business owner. And his company is doing pretty well for itself. Public records show that Drogbruk has received millions in both Polish public funding and EU grants over the years. This context, this money, is what made that fake statement's claim about having prestige and money on their side seem just plausible enough to be believed, at least at first. But the real twist here, the detail that takes this whole incident from just being selfish to being profoundly hypocritical, has nothing to do with his paving business at all. It turns out that Piotr Szczerek, the man who caused this huge scandal at a professional tennis match, is on the board of a Polish tennis club called Kalicia Tennis Pro. So he's not just some casual fan, he's actually an administrator in the sport. And here it is, the final, absolutely jaw-dropping piece of irony. His own 13-year-old son is a nationally ranked junior tennis player who competes for that very same club. The man who snatched a souvenir from a young tennis fan is the father of a young tennis player himself. You can't make this stuff up. So that one selfish act on court 11, it ended up creating two completely different outcomes. One is a story of kindness and community, and the other, well, it's a lesson in public shame. On the bright side, Kamil Majchrzak, the player, was pure class. He immediately jumped on social media to find the boy. Thanks to what he called the power of the internet, he connected with the family in just a few hours. He made sure that young fan got a new hat, and he turned a really negative moment into something truly memorable and positive for the kid. So, let's look at the final score here. The boy? He ends up with a brand new hat, a direct connection with his hero, and a story he's going to tell for the rest of his life. The man, Piotr Szczerek? He becomes an international symbol of bad behavior, and his name and his company are now forever linked to this one viral video. And all of this leaves us with one last thought to chew on. In a story where a totally fake legal defense became just as much a part of the narrative as the real event, it really forces you to ask, in the high-speed, high-stakes court of public opinion, how much does the real truth of every little detail even matter once the verdict is already in?